for you the 21 Lincoln Navigator Black Label right back at you after a live Q&A yesterday with the Mercedes-AMG G63. If you didn't see that one, go watch it after this live video. We got Patrick manning the camera again. Thanks for coming out again, Patrick. Super appreciate it. And we got some, I mean, like, we got a holiday weekend. You spend the time helping us out. I do appreciate it, dude.
Of course, man.
So folks who are tuned in live, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to answer all your questions about the Lincoln Navigator Black Label. Not going to have a full in-depth review on this one. I wanted to wait until the 22 model year gets here. This is the 21. We'll point out the changes for 22 if you guys have those questions. But I will have a POV test drive. I'll have a night drive. And of course, we got this live Q&A video for you. I'll also have a drive impressions video if you guys want to check that out. So, first up, we've got some questions that were asked on Instagram. If you want to follow me there, that's at MilesPerHr. TikTok, also the same thing, just at MilesPerHr. And I posed this photo up on YouTube's community page the day before, giving you guys a chance to ask your questions early, so we'll filter those in. But we also want to acknowledge the folks who spent the time to tune in live, and we'll get their questions answered. So what do we got for us?
First question right now. Is there a V8 option?
Yeah, so who's asking that?
Hey CX.
Hey CX, there is not a V8 option. This is only equipped with Ford Lincoln's 3.5 liter twin turbo V6. It makes 450 horsepower for the 21 model year. That is one change for 22. They actually cut it down 10 horsepower from some of the changes they're making. So it makes 440, 510 pound-feet of torque. But yeah, no V8 option. That was actually a couple questions from folks. They want to see V8. Someone asked about whether it's going to have a supercharger. No, just twin turbo V6.
Luke Taylor asked, how much horsepower does it have?
Yeah, so there you go. 450 horsepower and 510 pound-feet of torque. I'm going to pop the hood for you. Take a look at the engine. And so even though it doesn't have a V8 motor like Revel, the Cadillac Escalade, it does make really good power, more power than the Escalade at 450, and 510 pound-feet of torque is very generous. Also doesn't have an engine cover, which I do appreciate, being able to look in there at the injectors and the cylinders and all that good stuff.
So he'd asked, is this car bigger than the Escalade, X7, and GLS?
So it would be larger than the GLS and the X7. All of those vehicles have 6 to 7 passengers. This is a 7-passenger vehicle. It's right about the same size as the Escalade. The Escalade is its most direct rival, another American automaker delivering a full-size SUV for 7 passengers.
So you asked as well, does this car look more expensive than the Escalade?
I wouldn't say it looks more expensive. I think they look similarly posh. I personally kind of prefer the sharper edges, the boxier design of the Escalade on the exterior, but the interior, this Navigator is really bringing the heat. We'll show you that interior soon, and it looks really good, and the material quality is excellent.
Hey, as asked, is there a remote start?
There is a remote start. Let me grab the key for you and I'll show you that.
We're gonna start the car right now.
Yeah. So here's the key. And so you got unlock, lock. This is the remote start button, and you got your trunk release and panic right there. This is a very Ford looking key, but with Lincoln emblem on the back. So to remote start it, you'll lock it. Let's back up. Let's show them the profile. Also, this gentleman is going to back out. You're good to go. Okay. So you lock it, and then you hit this twice. And that's actually a really quick remote start. A lot of these systems, they take a second. It's like, oh, we're processing what you're actually asking us to do. This one, that started right up. Actually, it's the fastest remote start I've ever seen. Like it was expecting it. Yeah.
My car and stuff takes a long time. Right?
Yeah, right? It's which do you have remote start on, the C43?
Yeah.
You guys, if you don't know, Patrick's a big Mercedes fan.
Yeah.
He's got the GLE and the C43
And the GLE for 350.
and the GLE 350. He's also a Toyota fan. He's got a new Tundra.
Yeah.
He's
So
excited about the, what's up?
So you would ask, can you buy this car in Europe? because he personally likes it. Yeah, no, it's a beautiful car.
Yeah,
Wait until you see the interior. The interior is really
oh my gosh,
beautiful.
Yeah. I don't know if this model is available in Europe. I really don't. I know it's available in China, because I know Ford, Lincoln, GM, a lot of the American automakers are making a big push for it. It's now you gotta unlock it after you remote start it. You gotta unlock it.
Down?
Did you see the power running boards come
that's
down?
Cool. I like that.
Just let me lock it. I'll take a sec. Those will come back up. I gotta walk away. And then
look at that. Even that, those are pretty fast too.
yeah, these are really quick. Sometimes you're just sitting here going, I just want that to come down. But yeah, this is the interior, guys, and it is just gorgeous.
Beautiful interior.
They call this leather theme Chalet, and so you got this really nice design of the leather, the perforations, and these black contrast stitch with piping. The leather feels fantastic. On the Black Label, you got these 30-way power adjustable seats with massage. Any other questions coming in that I can answer? Now we can
Roberts asked, is this all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive?
It is a four-wheel drive vehicle, all-wheel drive vehicle.
Luke asked top speed.
Top speed's like 115. Limited to 115.
Beautiful, beautiful car.
There's lots of space in the back too.
Yeah. Inez asked, which one would you choose? Mercedes GLS, Cadillac Escalade, or this Navigator?
Yeah, that's a really good question. If all things were equal, if prices were equal, after driving this one, I really consider this one.
Yeah,
The ride quality is super nice.
Probably,
The interior is super nice. Again, I still kind of prefer the exterior of the Escalade, but the cabin's real nice. Of course, the GLS has that prestige going for it. Yeah, this interior is stunning, guys. It's really
He
nice.
asked, would you prefer four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive?
Well, four-wheel drive is typically with body-on-frame SUVs or more rugged SUVs, and they've got a low-speed transfer case and can do more technical stuff off-road. All-wheel drive doesn't have all those components, lighter weight typically, better fuel economy as a component of that. So it really just depends on what you're doing with your vehicle. In this case, this vehicle, even with, because sometimes four-wheel drive systems can limit the towing capacity, this one can still tow 8,300 pounds. It's a ton.
Bradley Car Review says, hello Miles,
Hey,
hey
brother.
in. How are you doing?
Hey, dude.
He said, remembering from the Genesis video?
Yeah, I do.
Hey CX said, what are the safety features on this? And price.
Price. So we'll start with the price. The price is about $100,000 right there for the Black Label model. That's the one we have here. 106 with the special edition package. You get those blacked out 22-inch wheels and blacked out roof rails and some other monochrome details on the exterior. Those safety features, it's got the full suite of like blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alerts. It gets a surround view camera system. I'm talking about the Black Label here, guys. Surround view camera system and adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, lane departure warning. It's got all that good stuff. Auto emergency braking, standard stuff on the Black Label.
So he'll ask, does this car have any hidden features that other cars may not have?
It's a great question. I think that the seats themselves are really special.
Yeah.
They're 30-way power adjustable. That is not something you're to commonly find in even your nicest luxury vehicles. So you might be like, 30-way adjustment, how can you possibly adjust a seat 30 different ways? Well, for one, you can adjust these thigh supports individually. So you can show, like, you can just make the right thigh support go up or down, or just the left one, which is pretty cool. You've got 4-way lumbar, you've got massage, the headrest can adjust independently, this back bolster can tilt at different angles. The 30 ways of adjustment mean like anyone in the driver's seat or passenger seat is going to find a comfortable seating position for them. So that's a neat feature that not a lot of vehicles have. Hidden, I mean, not necessarily, unless you knew looking at these seats that they're 30-way power adjustment, that's a sort of hidden feature.
Young asks, would you get this over the Yukon?
That's another good one. The Denali is kind of like would be the direct competitor to this. So it's like Denali, you got Escalade, GLS is one you mentioned. Lexus LX would be a competitor. This or the Denali. You know, honestly, I think I like the Escalade better than the Denali, and so if I'm going to say I'll take this one over the Escalade, just in terms of interior comfort and daily driving. If I was going to just be looking at my car all the time, I'd say Escalade, but driving it, it's got to be this
Luke
one.
Taylor asks, would you consider this one of the luxury cars?
Yes, I would definitely consider a luxury vehicle. Lincoln and Cadillac are thorough luxury brands, and so this being Lincoln's flagship model, they're throwing all their good stuff at it.
They want to check out the storage in the back.
Storage, okay. I'm going to pull the vehicle forward a little bit,
go for it.
get easier access to that zone. As I was just getting in, I was thinking about another, to Sahil's question about hidden features or maybe fun features that other vehicles don't have. This one has honestly one of the best air circulation systems. Like the AC system, when you're sitting inside the vehicle, even if you're in the third row, there's tons of airflow in there. So like I find myself in really nice luxury SUVs, not gonna name names, but I find myself in luxury SUVs and I've got it on max AC. And unless I got all the vents pointed at me, I feel like there's not enough airflow. This one chucks so much air in this cabin, it's really cool. So, okay, here's your storage space behind the third row. Not as much as the Escalade or the Denali, but it's decent. The third and second row seats can be folded down at the press of a button, and what's really cool about this is that they're not just folded down individually. Like typically you gotta press the left seat or the right seat and maybe hold those buttons. You just press one button and the whole roll folds. Same thing for the second row. It's one button.
That's quick too.
And it's pretty quick.
Wow.
The second row's quick. Third row, I mean, I've seen a lot of third row power folds, and that's quick for the third row. You can't power fold up the second row. You have to go do it, manually, but it's a pretty sophisticated system.
Yeah.
So this is the storage space in the Navigator.
Let's see.
They also, if you guys are curious, they also have a Navigator L, so an even longer version. It's sort of like you have the Escalade, and the Escalade, I don't know if they still call it the EXT, but it used to be called the EXT, the larger one.
Young asks, would you consider Chevy a luxury brand like Tahoe? Or
Chevy is not really trying to make themselves a luxury brand. They leave that to their Yukon Denali and the Cadillac Escalade brands to carry the torch for that, because they're effectively the same vehicles, but they add in luxury details, they add in bespoke technologies for those luxury brands that you can't get on your typical Chevy product.
Start asking you questions from Instagram.
Okay.
First one, Euro. Would this come out with a V8 and a supercharger?
Yeah, so this was the question that we had earlier. No, this is only going to be offered with this twin turbo V6, 450 horsepower and 510 pound-feet of torque for 21. For 22, that horsepower output drops by 10 to 440.
OT Maniac asks gas mileage.
So 17 combined is the EPA rating from, I think, from 15 city and 20 highway. It's okay. I found that the fuel economy has been worse than the estimate.
Exclusive Auto Pro asks engine size.
3.5 liters.
Gondale asks, is that real wood? Is there wood inside?
Yeah, so this was a great question. It is real wood. It's got this lacquer to it. You can see it here in the doors or up on the dashboard. It's real wood, and not just that, all of the trim inside the car is from the same tree.
Oh, wow.
So for each Navigator, Ford, Lincoln is sourcing from the same tree all the trim that you find. So it's just got this lacquer on it.
Someone asked about this. It's smooth, not rough.
Yeah.
Someone asked if
Yeah, like like a lot of people look at these speaker covers and they're like, oh, I kept my hand on it. There's actually one I was in recently. What was the vehicle? It wasn't the G63. Gosh, what was it recently? There was a vehicle I was in where it actually looked like it would cut your hand, but no, these are very smooth. They brush the metal, and they're beautiful speaker covers. It reminds me a lot of, you might remember this, like the speaker covers in the Burmester. Don't they look a lot like it?
Yep.
And that same intricate pattern.
Jaden Grind's ass, favorite feature of the car?
It's got to be the seat comfort.
Yeah.
The seat comfort is,
Yeah, they
is
look
awesome.
amazing, yeah.
They look great and they feel fantastic. Like, and that honestly, it, like I said, that would push me over on maybe getting the Navigator over its competitors, just for the simple fact that the seats are so comfortable and you're in those every day. You're spending a lot of time in them, and if you're taking this on a road trip, and it's not just the front seats, the second two rows are also really plush.
Portland Stack asks, is this silver trim around the plastic or metal?
This one around what, the gloss black?
Yeah,
This-
silver trim.
That's a good question, because I know there is metal trim in this vehicle, but it may just be for the speaker covers.
Plastic probably.
It might be plastic,
And then probably in here, metal.
and then certain
probably
places here might be metal. That kind of feels the same though.
Oh, okay.
So there might be plastic in certain places, but I know there is metal trim in other places. This one feels kind of cold. This might be real metal. No, that sounds like plastic. No, I'm gonna say really the bright chrome details are gonna be plastic, but the brush
Bradley's probably gonna ask a really good question.
Yeah, what's that?
Does it have air suspension and how's the ride quality? That's a good question.
Yeah, so we have to talk more about the ride quality when we're out on the road, but it does not have air suspension. And that's one thing that some of its competitors do offer. This one doesn't have air suspension. It does have adaptive dampers, and you'd be shocked. I actually swore, I'm like, this vehicle has to have air suspension. I had to look it up. It doesn't, but the ride quality is that good. That just the adaptive dampers on it are so well sorted that it feels like it has air suspension.
Jose asked from Instagram, turning radius for daily use.
Yeah, turning radius is also very good. That's another thing that really, like, you get into the drivability of this vehicle. Sorry, you get into the drivability of this vehicle, and it really shines there. The turning radius is excellent. I can actually do a little. I'll do a turn right here. You can just
Well,
see.
I gotta get, because it's sun.
Oh yeah.
It gets the blur and stuff. You can't really see it.
Oh, you can't see with the sun in this direction.
Yeah. Well, this side too, but the other side you can't.
Okay, yeah. So if I'll just drive that
Okay.
direction. I'll just turn it.
Oh, actually, you know what? Someone asked if they want to rev the engine.
Okay, yeah. I'll rev it up.
Yeah, really quick.
You can play in some exhaust from right up here, and then I'll
Yeah.
pass it go to the back. And do that.
Mom's is gonna pull the part.
All right, I'm gonna go do the U-turn now.
Yeah.
I was like, why is my butt so warm? The seat heater was on like full blast. I didn't throw that on. That's interesting. It might just be like based on the ambient temperature inside the cabin. If it's like it's too cold in here, it'll just automatically turn on the seat heater. I think it did that for the ventilator earlier on a hotter day. So that was funny.
Portland asked, how many gears does it have?
It has 10 speeds. So that 3.5 liter V6 hooked up to the 10-speed automatic, and in this case, four-wheel drive system. All right, here we go. U-turn. Didn't quite make it there, but I'll tell you what, for a 3-row full-size SUV, it's still a really good turning radius. All right, what are the questions? Should we hop in? Take
Yeah.
it for a drive?
Someone asked right now, do you prefer the Navigator with the V10?
Navigator with the V10.
Yeah.
There is no V10 in any Navigator I know of.
Okay. We're gonna do the ride right now. Let me get inside.
V10 in a
pretty
Navigator would be kind of crazy. I'd be down for it. But yeah, no V10 in this one.
So he would ask, how's the general infotainment system on this car? Is
So-
it laggy? And if it's something to mention, what would you wish it had?
So that's another thing for 22 they're upgrading. The infotainment, it's going to go from, I think there's a 10-inch screen to a 13.2-inch display. And it's going to go from Sync 3's infotainment, which we've got right here, to Sync 4. I've used Sync 4 on the new F-150, and it's a big upgrade. It's really good. So I think that is going to be a welcome change. Nothing really that wrong with Sync 3. It does have some sluggishness sometimes. Look, it turned on the steering wheel heating as well. That's so interesting. I didn't turn that on either. Don't even know how to turn that off. It's not here on the screen. Yeah, so the infotainment is fine. Like, no huge issues with Sync 3, but Sync 4 is going to be a big upgrade.
Let's see.
I'm going to go this way to do another turning radius, and you can see it from inside.
So I want to ask, do you prefer the MBX over this?
MBUX, yes. MBUX is one of my favorite infotainment softwares at this point in time. It's MBUX, it's iDrive. They kind of go back and forth in terms of ease of use and feature ability. I think that the MBUX is kind of leading it right now.
So it was pretty big. The car is
Dude,
pretty
so
big
this is the
inside.
turning radius. Like, that
Oh,
was
that's good. Yeah.
It kind of cut this
Yeah.
wide 2-lane road in half, and that was very good.
Oh yeah, the seats are very
Seats are comfy,
Oh,
right?
my God.
The adjustments are there on the thing if you want to.
Oh yeah, super comfortable.
Yeah.
Liberty asks, Range Rover or Lincoln?
Yeah. So I mean, off-road capability and kind of prestige. Land Rover is going to carry it with the Range Rover model, but and comfort too. I mean, those vehicles are very comfortable. They got a lot of headroom. This one also has headroom.
a lot of headroom. Yeah.
If you're going to own it for a long time, reliability of this is probably going to be higher than your Land Rover product. And price points, the number of features that you get in this $106,000 Black Label is significantly higher than the money you're going to have to spend on your Land Rover. But I mean, that's the thing. Like, you talk about very expensive luxury brands versus some of the American luxury brands, Cadillac, Lincoln. You get a lot of value here, but it doesn't quite have the same prestige typically.
That guy so low as this or the QX80?
QX80, so from Infinity, this 100%. The QX80 is, it's kind of the same platform, the Nissan Armada, and that one is tired. It's a tired vehicle platform. The
Yeah,
V8 in that vehicle is a lot of fun, but the fuel economy is atrocious, and it's just not as comfortable to drive as this one is.
Do you prefer display for the AC controls or knobs like this one? And
I
the
prefer
Navigator?
this here. To be honest, this is just so much easier to use and readily accessible. Instead of having to hunt around in the infotainment, this is way better. And when they do nice details like knurled finishes on the actual knobs, it doesn't feel like, oh, this is standout in not a good way. This is like a standout, ooh, cool luxury details. It doesn't look cheap. It's very well done, and I prefer the physical controls until they make the infotainment controls better to use.
So he will ask, does this car feel heavy while driving it?
It feels like a big
Heavy,
three-row
yeah.
SUV. The weight is not, they're not even trying to disguise the weight. It's 6,000 pounds. So, but that's just kind of par for the course in this segment of vehicle. It doesn't drive like a super lightweight vehicle. However, the 3.5 liter V6 engine does a great job carrying this vehicle along, getting it up to speed and then carrying it at speed.
Is there any virtual assistant?
I do believe there's voice commands. Yes, you can do some voice commands. Not as sophisticated as like the latest MBUX voice commands or the latest iDrive system, but it does have your basic voice commands.
Young asks, do you like the new Cherokee?
The Grand Cherokee?
Yeah, Grand Cherokee.
I just have a review out of that one not too long ago, the Grand Cherokee L. So guys, go check that one out. Great plug for that. Because I did a full in-depth review on that one. I did test drives, I did off-road drives. So go check that out for my full thoughts. But I do like it.
Famous Boy Tez asked, does this car have sport mode?
Have sport mode, yes. So it's drive modes here. They don't call it sport, it's funny. They call their drive mode Excite. So you've got here on the digital gauge cluster, you've got conserve. If you hit this back button twice, it'll recenter just to make it easier.
There you go.
So you've got over here, light is green, conserve, excite. Excite is the sport mode, and it just quickens the throttle response in a very appreciable way. And it's not, you're never gonna say, wow, that's fast, right?
But
You're never
it
gonna
picks
say,
up,
but
though.
it picks up, it
Yeah.
gets moving, and the mid-range power is solid. I love you can hear the induction from the twin turbos.
Someone
listen
asked,
closely, you get it?
Yeah.
someone asked, do you think people prefer more to incline to the Escalade rather than this?
Are they more inclined to choose the Escalade? I just realized I forgot to grab that sticker off. I'll get it off over here. More inclined to choose the Escalade or this?
Yeah.
I don't know how people are inclined, to be honest. I don't know the sales numbers of the Escalade versus this. I'm pretty sure the Escalade outsells the Navigator. I don't know by how much. So, you know, just looking at sales numbers, the Escalade might get a little more attention. It's been around for a little longer. Not a lot longer than Navigator has been around for a while. But I think that Cadillac has done a better job sort of playing up the Escalade as a, it's like a celebrity car. It is a well-to-do model. The Navigator has some of that, but I think that they haven't done quite as good of a job perhaps marketing it. And so people don't necessarily think of the Navigator. When you think of American luxury success, you gotta think Escalade first, Navigator maybe second.
Someone asked, is there a launch control?
There's no launch control. The Navigator, and kind of, you know, that's speaking to the fact that it's got this one engine option. The engine is good, but it's not trying to be a sport luxury SUV. But even its direct rivals, you think about the base model X7 or the base model GLS, neither of those vehicles have launch control either. That's not really their intent.
Jesus Soto asked, which color option or theme this car has?
So it's in radiant silver, and it has the black exterior accents, along with that package, the called FIA Special Edition package. I'm going to pull off over here for just a quick sec to grab something off the back. So radiant silver with that package, and then interior color is called Chalet theme.
Someone asked, how is the steering wheel feeling?
The feel of the leather is excellent on the wheel, and the input is kind of just right for something of this size. It's not a bus steering wheel. You're having to do it 10 different. It's not such an open ratio. You're having to crank the wheel all that much, but it's not ultra tight like a sports car. So I think it's kind of well tuned.
XX Killer Lord donated right now.
Oh, thank you so much. Does he have a question that I can answer?
No question, just donated.
But thank you, XX Killer Lord, dude. The super chats really help, guys. So thank you so much. If you want to contribute, I will definitely prioritize your questions. I'll be right back. Patrick, if you have any thoughts you want to share with the audience, you're welcome to.
Yeah. Overall, beautiful car. I would definitely do this. Or actually, I would rent this car to go to Vegas. Definitely. That's a good
call.
Yeah, no.
This would be
it's comfortable.
like the road trip, right?
Yeah,
like
road trip car. This is
this would be so comfy as a road tripper. I'm gonna just hop in the back and kind of just like right off for a second. Because these seats,
are
even in the
comfortable.
second row, are super comfy.
I think they're more comfortable than the front.
And then what?
Than the front.
Seriously?
Yeah, those. Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, okay. Here's the thing. There's like these armrests that you have in the second row. The front has these nice padded rests here on the console, but these armrests are so thick and so cushy. I've never seen them like this thick in a second row vehicle. So you can recline the seat if you want to, like pretty nice and far. My legroom is really solid at 6 feet tall behind my own driving position. So, I mean, yeah, it's
Definitely a Vegas car.
this is a Vegas car. This is really nice. Dude, I could see this as a limousine.
Yeah.
Like, it's a luxury limousine right here.
Especially the XL, right? You said there's a bigger one?
There's an L, yeah.
Oh,
There's
L.
an, I actually don't know if, I think they're still making the L for 22, but they are for 21. So it's got even more cargo space and more third row leg room. But even in the third row, like, you still got good room. So bring up the seat. That's too far.
Actually,
Yeah.
that's a good question. Is there a rear entertainment package option on this? It should, right?
That's
I mean,
a good question. I don't know. I actually don't know if they offer a rear seat entertainment package. Usually the giveaway is that on the backs of the front seats, they have like some integration, like some like thing that you can kind of plug in the entertainment system to. I've never seen that on the back of this vehicle, so I can't say, yeah, they've got one, because I don't know.
Oh, someone else a
The
good
third row
question.
leg is good.
Speakers.
So it's got a 20-speaker Revel Ultima sound system, 640 watts. This is a really good sound system.
XX
Seats-
Killer Lord donated again.
Dude,
Question.
thank you. Okay.
Asks, why don't you review a Ford Explorer ST?
I've actually had a real tough time getting an Explorer ST. They've been booked, guys, like this is so weird. They've been booked up for like months. I've been trying to get one, but they've been booked up. I'll find a way. We'll get one. We'll get one
Another
on this
question.
channel.
Where do you think the places Lincoln has done cost cutting in this Navigator?
That's a really good question. Like where do you
See that they
where can you see
Yeah.
the cost cutting? In this interior, if they've been doing it, they've been hiding it really, really well. The interior is solid. There's not a ton of cost cutting that you can see. I mean, like, it'd be nice if the backs of the seats were all in leather or something like that, but kind of that's even a price above. They did injection molding, so it's not hard plastic. So that doesn't seem like cost cutting to me. There's a little bit of cost cutting down here. You're not able to see this, but on the back of this console area, there's some harder plastics down low. But who's really going to be going down here and touching this stuff? It looks good. So on the interior, the cost cutting has been very well hidden.
Could you review our cars, or do you only review newer cars?
I typically review newer cars. In the case of someone from the audience being like, hey, I've got this really cool, like,
The Bravas. We still waiting on that.
yeah, we're waiting on the Bravas. They actually reached out to me. I gotta get back to them.
Nice.
Um,
Nice.
But you know, like the Demon, like the Dodge Demon
Oh.
that my friend Carl Brower had. I featured that one. That was a 2018 model. You know, like still newer, but not the most new vehicle. So I typically do new cars because I get those from the automakers. But in certain cases, I'll feature a used vehicle if I'm really excited about it, and someone reaches out to me with it. I'd love to review. Well, it's still a new vehicle, but a Tesla Model S Plaid. I want to see that one if anyone has one of those, or older Ford GT. If you've got something cool you want to see,
Google
reach out.
Entertainment Blog asks, what is the price of this car?
As tested, this is 106,000 and some change. The starting figure for the Black Label, and the Black Label is the top of the line one, is 99,950. So right around there at 100K.
Do you prefer the wood trim in this new gen Mercedes, or the one that comes in the Navigator?
So I'll be honest, I prefer open pore wood trims. And so this one has this lacquer on top of it, and so it's gloss, and this is why some people are like, oh, is that fake trim or is it real trim? It is real wood trim, but I prefer the open pore wood feel because I'm a very tactile person. So when you touch the wood, I want to feel the grain of the wood, and that's not something you have in the Navigator.
I think it's plastic. Never mind. Someone asked right now, do you prefer that the headliner stuff would be leather?
The headliner, so right now it's got like this suede material on it. A full leather headliner I've only seen in the Maybach GLS and Rolls-Royce vehicles. And I really do like that. So that I would never say no to that. But the suede material is not bad.
Jeffrey has to do his drift.
Drift, yeah. That would be terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
Hey guys, you guys have any more questions and stuff? Still waiting. Good question. How are the brakes?
The brakes are competent for a vehicle of this size. They're not surprisingly good in any particular way. They're competent. They haul the vehicle down. You shouldn't be driving it like a sports car, and so you shouldn't expect the brakes to have this crazy great bite and strong pedal feel. It's like they pull the vehicle down. They're a tad on the squishier end, but you kind of get the impression that the vehicle is going to stop, and that's the important part.
Sorry if I pronounce your name, Sharmila. Good questions. You've been asking good questions.
Yeah.
Another question around asked, do you feel like there's some areas of this car that are fragile?
So I mean, that kind of ties in with the cost cutting, right? Like, do I feel like there are any parts that are fragile or cheap? Not really. Honestly, they've done a great job with the material quality in here. Certain things that have a tendency to break over time, latch mechanisms, the trim on certain high-touch surfaces can wear over time. But the look and feel of the stuff in this cabin is such that I don't think anything is going to, certainly within the first period of ownership, the first 5 to 7 years, or even the second period, is going to break on you. Nothing feels, as you said, Sharmila, fragile. Good question.
Jeffrey asked, which screen do you prefer, this Lincoln or the Cadillac Escalade? Personally he's going with the Cadillac.
Okay, so I do really like the 36-inch OLED display in the Escalade. That's just like, it levels up. It's even more so than the Mercedes-Benz twin 12.3-inch displays. So I'm going to say I really do like the tech that Cadillac is bringing with that Escalade.
Maximilian asked, do you feel like a cool dude driving it or not?
Dude, that's a great question, right? So, and that kind of gets back to the Escalade versus Navigator question, and that's how Cadillac has done a really good job with both the look and just the marketing of making the Escalade feel like this sort of like pride of ownership piece. And the Navigator has some of that, but you don't necessarily feel quite as cool driving the Navigator as you do the Escalade. But instead, you feel very good. Like, the seats are so comfortable, the ride quality is excellent. There's a lot that the Navigator is bringing that the Escalade still has to level up on, but the Escalade has definitely kind of taken the charge in terms of cool to look and just that style that the Escalade brings.
Center console, it does shake actually.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Not while you're driving. Like, you really have to kind of pull on this thing to get it to move. Maybe if you were towing a lot of weight and it's like there's oscillations in the cabin a lot, but not while you're driving. While you're driving, I haven't seen this thing move around. And I think that's kind of true for a lot of these sort of tacked-on tablet-style infotainments, is like, if you yank on them, they're going to move, but while you're driving, they're kind of just rigid.
This versus the GLS.
So I mean, yeah, we talked a little about that. The GLS is, it's got the Mercedes-Benz prestige. It's got the look. You see that badge, and people kind of just have to go, this guy made it. This guy or gal made it in life. But in terms of ride quality and performance and details, there's nothing that GLS has that this doesn't. And in some cases, like these seats, the Navigator has stuff the GLS doesn't. So if you weren't so concerned about how you look when driving the vehicle, then the Navigator has got a lot going for it.
Off topic, well, non-car related stuff. How do you think someone can go about becoming a car journalist? You have one of the best, most awesome jobs in the world.
I completely agree, and I'm very blessed to be able to do this. If you want to learn more about kind of doing this job, I would really suggest you check out my 100,000 subscriber special, because I really lay out how I got to do what I'm doing and give some ideas of how you can get started. And if you have other questions, you're welcome to shoot me a message on Instagram or send me an email, and I can give you some other tips, just sort of one-to-one. But yeah, watch my 100,000 subscriber special, because I got a lot of info in there about how I got started and some suggestions for how you can too.
The air vents, they feel kind of.
They feel, I mean, like, not cheap, but not like, wow, these air vents, you know? Like, they feel like about what I would expect.
Yeah.
Nothing, again, this is another piece that doesn't feel like it's gonna break necessarily, but it's maybe here we're talking about cost cutting. Here's a place where they just saw it's like we don't necessarily need to overindulge.
Sparsh asks, this or the Range Rover SV Ultimate Edition 300K?
Yeah, so that's not really a competitor to this one. Similar size, but you're talking about 50 grand more than this one. No, what am I talking about? It's a lot more. And you're talking about the Range Rover Sport Ultimate Edition. That's definitely not the same class of vehicle. That's a mid-size luxury SUV. This is very much a full size. That's a mid to full. This is very much a full size luxury SUV. So not really a competitor to this one.
Let's see. Oh, is the driver's displays like compared to the new gen Audis?
No. The Audi virtual cockpit display is seriously class leading. Like the resolution, the graphical variantation, the customization, them and the MBUX system, both for the driver displays are kind of really leading. This one is pretty bare bones. There's not a lot you can do to customize it. They may very much tried to make it like on the subtler side. Like they're not trying to have big flashy graphics, but that also doesn't create the same visual intrigue. So Cadillac's got a better one, Audi virtual cockpit, Mercedes-Benz UX system, it's got a better driver display.
Do you want to see the backup camera? It has
So,
a 360.
Yeah, so I'll show you the 360 camera. So this is standard on the Black Label. Hit this button here, which is great. I like that there's a button. You can bring that up at any time. 360 camera is okay. The backup camera is not the highest resolution. It's also, it doesn't take over the whole screen.
Yeah.
I wish these took over the whole screen. So when you go to the front camera, again, it's still not the whole screen. The whole screen would be to here. So this has like this margin here. So the camera system, the camera system really needs a little bit of an upgrade. It's not awful, but it's not like amazing class leading, and you can't do all of the different angles that you can with some of the other 360 cameras. GM's 360 camera is really class leading in this segment. All the different angles you can do when you're towing. It's got towing assist cameras. This one does have the trailer backup assist, which is very useful. Vehicle this big, also with a trailer, you want to make sure you're not going to do any damage or make any mistakes.
Does the startup button feel premium?
It does feel good. It doesn't like have any texture or anything to it. I would like to see that on it, but it doesn't feel cheap by any means.
Someone asked, what is your dream car?
Dream car. I get this question a lot. My dream car is the 2005 Ford GT. If anyone has one of those, apart from Doug DeMuro, I don't know if I can get his car for a minute to drive. If anyone has one of those, I would love to do a POV drive video on those. That is my dream car.
Parsh asks, Range Rover Velar is your dream car?
Velar is not my dream car. Velar is definitely not my dream car. I like it. I don't love it. And
it looks a little funny to me.
It's got some funky angles on it. Yeah.
Let's see.
I don't know, but Velar is not the dream.
Is this made in America?
This one is made in America, yeah. I'm not sure exactly where their plant is. I'm pretty sure their plant is in Michigan. Heads up, the mic is kind of leaning down.
Do you think the Lincoln was capable of innovating more in this vehicle, or is this actually their best? What do you think? That's
Are
a
they
good question.
Are they capable of
asking
more?
some really good questions.
Who is that? Sharmila?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sharmila, do I think they can do more? Yes, and that's kind of why they've shown for the 22 model year some of the changes they're making. They can do more with the infotainment. They're doing that. They can do more with the lighting signatures. They're doing that for 22. The LED lights now have a pixel design theme. There are welcome animations on the back for 22. There are massaging options for the back seats in 22.
Massages, right, you said?
The front has massages. The back have massages for 22. So there's definitely more they can do, and they're doing it. So so we'll see. That's why I want to get the 22 model so I can do a review of that one, full-on in-depth review.
Robert Arvero asks, how much more do you have to pay for a Cadillac?
The Escalade starts, the Escalade has a lot more trim levels than the Navigator. Escalade, the one I tested was like 116, I believe. So about 10 grand more than this, but that was a really well spec'd out model. But I'm thinking their starting figures are going to be right around the same for like the Premium Plus. No, it's not Premium Plus. That's Audi. The Premium edition of the Escalade, very well equipped, is going to be right around 100, just like this one.
Toyota Venza Guy 24 asked, do you think this is better than the new Yukon?
Yeah, so we getting a lot of those questions, Yukon, Escalade, that kind of question. I think that the cabin, the comfort level is higher than the Yukon, yes. Exterior-wise, I think the Escalade and the Yukon have a little more of what I appreciate, which is kind of that boxier style.
Bradley's Car Reviews asked, can you get in the third row, please?
Sure, yeah. I did that for a sec, actually,
Yeah.
but I'll hop back.
Yeah, no, you actually said that.
Yeah. So this is how you get in the third row. You pull this lever up top, and you kind of slide it forward. And it's a really nice wide access point, so I can just easily walk back here. And then in the third row, this seat is slid all the way back, so you can just kind of get a feel for the legroom situation. Me at 6 feet tall. I've got knee room. My head even clears the roof too. That's always an issue for me. It's like head clearance. And this one I've got the space for it. And the seats are really comfy. Better still, you've got like power controls for reclining the third row.
Oh, you do? Oh,
Yeah.
wow, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually third seats never
Yeah,
have
third
that.
seats don't get that. Like sometimes they'll recline, but you got to pull a lever or like a strap or something. This you got power controls for your third row.
Maximilian asked, tire size.
The wheels are 22s. The tires, I don't know.
I'll
off the top
check
of my
really
head.
quick.
Yeah, we'll go look. A lot of.
Let's see. They're 285s, 45s, or 22s.
Probably a square stance.
Yeah, probably.
285s.
285s.
285s with all four corners, guys.
Let's see. Does it have a cigarette lighter? I don't think
A
so.
DC socket is what they're asking for, and they do in the second row. There's a second row DC socket. There's not a cigarette lighter, but I think American automakers are really trying to like push
Get away from that.
get away from the smoking culture in their vehicles. So there's no cigarette lighter, but there is a DC socket. Bring your own cigarette lighter, I guess, and plug it into one of those.
Bradley's Car Review asked, is the ride quality a big difference from the Expedition?
The Expedition. I haven't driven an Expedition in quite some time. That's another one. What is going on with Ford vehicles? Ford vehicles like hard to find certain ones. That's a directional mic, by the way. So when it's pointing, there you go. I haven't driven an Expedition in quite some time, so I can't really compare the ride quality. I do know that Lincoln gets in there with the suspension and they try to refine it. So I'm imagining it's going to be better, but I can't speak specifically to the Expedition because I haven't driven it in a while.
They want to see it with both doors open. in the back.
Both doors open in the back? The doors open really nice and wide too, which is great for, families. You got to load in your car seat or something like that.
Maximilian, yeah, the car is huge actually.
It's big.
It's big.
It's big, but it's big like
Like
big like
it's
a
supposed-
Yukon.
yeah.
It's big. It's big like an Escalade. It's big. It's bigger than an X7. It's bigger than a GLS. But that's also from kind of the squared stance.
The plastics feel the same as the front. So
Yeah, not really any cheaper or more expensive in the back seat than the front. But it's nice they bring the wood trim back here and they don't do it like some brands will do like just a little bit of the trim in the back seats. It's like a cop out, but they're like they give the same amount of wood trim in the back. You still get nice big speaker covers up here and down here. These are real metal. The shinier chrome pieces are plastic.
Sharmila asked, does this have soft door close?
Does not have soft closing doors. No, so if you don't close it all the way, well, I'm so used to the G63, right? So if you close it there, they're gonna stay like that. You're gonna have to just come over and close them. But the doors are very easy to close. So it really doesn't take much effort to close them all the way.
Sharmila asked, do you think with the age that the lacquered wood trim would get badly scratched after 6 to 7 use of?
Years of use? That's a good question. That's the thing also with the lacquer trim. Yeah, and then it's good that you asked that specifically because like when you put the gloss on there, if you get scratches, those can be more reflective. Whereas if it's an open pore trim, you can see the scratches, but in different light, they're not going to reflect at you. so they can stand out more with a lacquer trim. All the more reason why you should have open port trim.
Yeah, Maximilian, the door is bigger than him.
Yeah, dude, the door is huge.
Yeah.
Me versus the door.
He's like, yeah, it's bigger than him.
Yeah, this is a huge door.
Yeah, it's a beautiful car. I really like it. Like I said, road trip car for sure.
Oh yeah.
Vegas.
Dude, family, this is a really good family vehicle, right? Like you got a lot of kids, throwing them in the back.
Oh,
They've got space. You even have like larger kids, more adult-sized kids. Throw them in the back, no problem.
how many people can fit inside?
7.
Seven.
7 passengers.
Comfortably or?
7
Yeah,
comfortably.
I would
7
say
comfortably,
so, right?
for sure. Yeah.
I mean, you fit
This
in the
is
back
with the
and stuff.
captain's chairs in the Black Label. The non-Black Label models will have a bench seat in the second row, so it can fit 8 passengers.
Let's see.
While we're waiting, guys, just another plug for if you want to get yourselves a MilesPerHr t-shirt, check out any of my videos just below that. They've got the spring links to any of the shirts. Get yourself a face mask. And yeah, if you want to be a member on YouTube's channel page, just click that and I'll be able to tell you guys what videos I have coming out. That's one of my biggest perks for anyone who signs up.
Sherman last, does the rear tail have halos?
Halos. Halos is not a term I'm familiar with except for BMW headlights, the halo lights. So I don't know if it has halos. It's LEDs. It's an LED tail light.
LEDs,
Yeah.
Yeah, Patrick, I think you might be from Russia, I believe.
Okay.
Wait, he calls these vans.
Vans, interesting. Yeah, I mean, like, so here's the thing, like, they function in the same, people here in the US have, like, wanted to embrace SUVs instead of minivans because they just, the look, right? It's like, you don't want to be the soccer mom or soccer dad in the minivan. And so we embraced SUVs, but they function the same way. And in fact, minivans have more utility because you're not making that caveat for having the body on frame or having that certain look. They're just utility, they're just space. But yeah, it is a van. I mean, it is a van, they call it an SUV.
Patrick asked, how much does it cost?
106 as tested, just right around 100 to start for the Black Label. You can get into a Navigator for as cheap as 78. As cheap as 78.
Doom Emperor asked, can you rev it real quick?
Sure. Yeah, I'll rev it real quick. Rumble like you do in the Escalade, but it doesn't sound bad.
Yeah, it does sound bad. The induction sounds.
Yeah.
Sharmila asked, do you like the specs of this vehicle?
I really like.
And if there are better wheels than this?
So these are kind of like the biggest wheels they offer. The 22-inch wheels are what they offer. I like the wheels.
Yeah,
I like the
nice.
spec.
It fits for the.
Yeah,
for the SUV.
this spec is really nice. The silver radiance exterior with the black details. It's a really good combination. So I like how they spec this one. And that Chalet interior is gorgeous. So they did a great job. Whoever spec'd this vehicle did a really nice job.
Let's see. Maximilian asked, can you open the hood?
Yeah. We showed that earlier in the video.
It's dripping because of the AC.
Yeah, that's just
the AC.
We've
We've had it. It's getting a little hot here in California.
So I'm going to do the hood and then we're probably going to wrap up the video, guys. And if there's anything you missed, I encourage you to go check out earlier in the video because we're doing a lot of the same stuff that we did earlier in the video. 3.5 liter twin turbo V6, just as a recap for you. 450 horsepower, 510 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60, no one asked that question, but it's 5.2 seconds. So it's pretty quick. That's from Car and Driver. So that's a pretty quick 0 to 60 time. Top speed is like 115 limited. Fuel economy is 17 combined MPGe.
Actually, Tramil, you keep asking really good questions. I feel like you definitely could tell this is a Lincoln because from far away and stuff, it has that big grille.
Yep. Yeah, this grill has
emblem
become a
and stuff,
signature thing for them. The emblem is nice and large. The wheel designs are very Lincoln. The body construction is very Lincoln, where it's more smooth and curved on the front and more blocky in the rear. Yeah, you can definitely tell it's a Lincoln.
Yeah, definitely. This person was asking, compared to Mercedes. I mean, well, Mercedes, you can't. You know, it's.
Can you tell like it's a Mercedes? Yeah. So the question is, could you tell more that they're a Mercedes is a Mercedes.
Yeah, and this
versus
is a Lincoln.
this being a Lincoln.
I think so. Or maybe not the back.
So here's
Because
the
I
thing.
feel like a lot of the new cars and stuff are looking exactly like the back.
Yeah. So Lincoln's had this like big LED bar
Yep.
across the back for a while, and so you kind of like know immediately that that's a Lincoln, right? But can you tell it's a Lincoln more so than a Mercedes? Not necessarily, but also that's kind of just because Lincoln was quiet for a while, and now they're coming back. So I feel like we'll be able to see more of the Lincoln specific traits just passing by cars on the road.
Do you prefer the grille of the X7 or this?
Oh, that's a good question, because I don't really like the grille of this one.
Yeah.
It doesn't really do it for me, but I also don't love the X7's grille. The X7's grille, I feel honestly like it fits the vehicle more than this one does.
Let's see.
Guys, we're probably going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining today's live Q&A. I hope you guys have a great, if you're in the US, great holiday weekend with Labor Day on Monday. We're not going to have the G63 review on Mondays like we typically do. We're going to have it on Wednesday. So look for that, along with POV drives of this one and a drive impressions video coming out soon. Thank you so much for joining. If you want to be a MilesPerHr member, I would super duper appreciate it. Or on Patreon, same thing. Get yourself some MilesPerHr t-shirts. And thank you again, Patrick, for hosting this live Q&A. We'll see you next time.
All right. Bye, guys.